Hello, Tyson. Jesus Christ, you scared the shit out of me. Hello.
It's not like we're not just sitting here waiting for a show to start.
Yeah, I know. I was going through my phone. It's my fault. Hey, Tys. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 139 of Nic, Tys and Videotape. Very exciting. Take 2 of this episode, by the way. We did try to record this a couple of days ago.
We had technical difficulties.
We did. We got about 15 minutes in until we pulled the plug and I kicked over my computer in a rage. Yeah. Stormed out.
And thought, you know what? Going to try again tomorrow.
There's just sometimes it's just better just to say, you know what? It's not going to happen tonight.
It's a flat no, exactly.
But we're back.
We are back. We are talking, Tyson, one of your all-time favorites. This is up there for you, man.
It absolutely is, and I'm really excited to be talking about it because I have absolutely no shame in my love for this film.
And that's good. I love that.
We are talking about Tombstone from 1993.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, 93. Tombstone.
And
I love this movie.
I love this fucking movie. It's going to be a fun conversation. But God, it's going to be very exciting to talk about this. I think we've done really well kind of going one that you really love and one that I really love and one that we both really love. But we've done a nice job of kind of sharing it around in our
Do we need to go the opposite
filler.
of that? Do we need to go the opposite of that and go the one that we both hate?
It probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
I know you don't like to bring negativity into the podcast.
Well, it is funny, Nick, because I was actually thinking about that today, and there is an episode that you constantly refer to as your favorite episode of the show, and I thought I would have a listen again, and that is our discussion of St. Elmo's Fire. St.
Elmo's Fire, yeah, it was hilarious,
and we are so angry. Well, especially me. I am mad at that movie. In our discussion,
well, that's because it was built up so much. Yeah, you did. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I get real aggressive about it.
Yeah, you do.
Like,
you do.
Fuck this movie.
But that's not. Yeah, that's what you like, though. You don't want someone like. There's nothing worse. Like if it's a movie that you hate, bring it on. I want to hear what you have to say about it, listeners. I'm talking to you. Anyone who comes up to me and goes, "Jesus Christ, I fucking hated this movie," I want to talk to you. Let me hear.
Yeah,
it. Look, any movie that you go, yeah, it was all right. That bores the shit out of me. That's
but there's not really much you can say about that, is there? Like, if it's just okay. At least if you hate something, you get this passionate kind of like fire in your belly, and you just got to you got to talk to about somebody with somebody.
Exactly, and that's why you love that's why we'll reference this in a minute, but that's why I feel that like the Letterboxd app is so good because you can see what your friends are watching, and if they rate it really low, you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How did you rate that low? Did you not like that movie? Like, I love it.
Well, having said that, maybe it's not a terrible idea then to go down the path a la Wild West and pick something that is basically generally one of the big time kind of disappointments and maybe have a chat. But we'll discuss that later in the show. Nick,
sure, I like it.
Why don't you tell the people at home where they can find our podcast?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. You're about to enter the Wild West, which is Tombstone. Actually, let's just say the Wild West. Let's just say that. Wild West. You can't say
the Wiki Wild West.
No. And if you like what you hear, we would love for you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share, rate, review, all of those things if you are so well inclined. And if you do so, we would love you muchly. Other than that, if you are a fan of the podcast and you haven't jumped on the social media bandwagon, that's fine. You still can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, if you wish to. Other than that, we're on YouTube. You can listen to our podcast on YouTube. And we are also big fans of the Letterboxd app, which is the app that I just referred to before. I find it very refreshing. It's such a nice basic app that you can see what your friends are watching, what they've rated, what they've reviewed. Miles, just a shout out to you. I love your recent viewing of Rise of the Skywalker. That was a top-notch review there, Miles. Hey, Miles. But other than that, you can follow Tyson, which is Tys _videotape, or myself, which is Nic _videotape.
That's it. How exciting!
Yeah.
I've been pretty quiet on Letterboxd app this last week. It's been a
That's because last week you went insane and just watched like 5 things
in like 2 days.
Didn't you?
But yeah, no, it's I'm going back to school at the moment, so
back to school.
It's quieting down a little bit, which is fine. That happens. But it'll be I'll be back to my regular self, I think, within about another week or so. Because guess what? School holidays are coming up again soon, which is amazing.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I know, it didn't take long. It's been about fucking. It feels.
Wasn't it at the start of? Hang on, when lockdown happened? It was at the start.
Yeah, dude, there's been 6 weeks of term already. It's 7.
Jesus.
This is the 7th week of term. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, so school holidays is always my time for catching up on my viewing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that again. You better believe it. Nick, we're going to forego talking trailers this week. It's been a bit of a quiet one. We decided not to discuss the weird sex bot comedy movie that had a trailer.
That's true.
That's
we're going to pass. It's a full
has
pass.
been viewed many more times. I feel bad for actual movies when they only get 10,000, 20,000 views on their trailer, and something called Sex Bots in the Future gets 800,000 views in 5 minutes.
Of course it does, man. Sex sells. That's why, that's why Russ Meyer exists.
Yeah,
that's
true.
why, things like, what's another one? Oh, I got nothing. But
he knew where it was
things
at.
like that
Russ
exist.
Meyer. He knew what was going on.
He knew what was going on. He put asses in the seats. That's what he was there for.
In lots of places, I think.
Asses in lots of places. Yeah.
But so we're going to forgo talking trailers because we're not going to talk about that garbage. But we thought it'd be fun to get into our not as frequent but often fun segment, Nick.
Yes.
I don't know how that's become that. I know what it's meant to be in my head. It's like an old school ticker thing, the Daily Planet spinning around and and then news going thwomp against across the bottom.
Across the thing and old Tommy J. Oh, here we are with the news, ladies and gentlemen. Coming at you live from 5. Ladies and
gentlemen, we have some breaking news for you from Hollywood.
This just in.
Well, we do have some breaking news from Hollywood, Nick, and we thought it would be worthwhile discussing because this is something that we've brought up a few times on the show, I think. And now...
Have we? Very, very quick pass.
Yeah. And mostly our reaction has been get fucked. And now this is happening. So
and now it's a reality. What are we talking about, Tyson?
We're talking about the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut of Justice League is on its way. It is official. It's happening. It's kind of ridiculous.
We're getting it. We're getting it. Not only that, though, he's doing another 20 million.
20 mil. 20 mil of reshoots and special effects and post-production.
This is going to be the most expensive movie.
It was already fucking $300 million for
he's going back?
one of the most underwhelming movies of all time.
100%, yeah.
So, Nick, all right, how do you feel about this?
I don't think it's a lot of reshoots. I think it's just a lot of post and fixing up the things that he didn't get to finish.
No, you're right. I've heard the cast coming back to do ADR, so that'll cover some of the cost of that. So they're obviously going to be doing, badly CGI'd, well, maybe badly CGI'd, or just kind of they'll change the angles of shots so the dialogue can be what he wants it to be and not what it ended up being. Yeah, and then the rest of I think is special effects and post-production stuff.
So how I feel about this is, now, don't get me wrong. I am a big fan of Superman. I named my son Clark for fuck's sake, right? I am a big fan of Batman. I love the DC world. I'm a big DC fan. Now, I will see this film. I will see it on principle, just like I did the last Justice League. I saw it on principle so that me and Sam, we put it on and Sam was like, we're really going to watch this? I'm like, no, you don't understand. We're going to watch this and we're going to laugh all the way through. It's going to be hilarious. She's like, okay, I'm up for that. Anyway, so we have had this done before, a la the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh, yeah. That's a fair comparison.
A little bit of difference. Yeah. So Sonic the Hedgehog came out. Everyone who saw
the trailer came out.
The trailer came out, sorry. Everyone who saw that trailer saw what they had made Sonic look like. And there was a mass negative spin on that. They were just, everyone was like, no, this isn't our Sonic. All fans came to the internet and said, look, no. And they changed it. And people went and saw it. And that film actually made money, which I was super fucking proud of. I haven't seen it. I won't see it. I'm not a big fan of Sonic. But the fact that people went out and saw it because of fans saying that this thing has changed, that the movie has changed, we want it changed, they changed it, and now people saw it. That's awesome. I think that's great. I really, really think that's great. This movie, however,
Yes, go on.
Sorry, I have to put it. I hope this thing fails hard. I don't hope that it does. I just think that it will. I think that it's just going to be. I don't think it's going to help the fact that, and this what I'm going off the back of is that. Yes, it doesn't have to be a Marvel universe. We don't have to have a Superman movie, a Wonder Woman movie, a Batman movie, Flash, and then, Justice League. And we make up, maybe it could be Cyborg story. You get a little bit like Hawkeye, like the first Avengers sort of thing. But it doesn't have to be like that. It can be the way that it's being. But unfortunately, with what I've seen from Man of Steel, I'm not going to like this universe. So it's a hard pass. I'm not a huge fan of Ben Affleck's Batman. I think Henry Cavill is a fantastic Superman, but he's given a really fucking shitty scripts every time. I think Wonder Woman, I think Gal is great. I think the Flash, who plays the Flash?
That's Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller, that's right. I think he's miscast. I'm not a huge fan of Ezra's Flash. Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe it's just not for me. I will still see it. I just don't think it will do that well.
Well,
Tyson?
So yeah, I've got two kind of. There's two schools of thought at the moment, and one of them is, sure. I think I think the movie's flawed on a really deep level.
Sure.
Like structurally, right down to its core, I think it has problems, and I don't know whether or not that can get fixed by this. I feel like it's, this movie is just not my cup of tea, and I don't know if this is going to make that any different for me. So for one, I'll probably see it, and maybe I will enjoy the experience more, but even if it even kind of resembles the structure of what it was, I won't enjoy it. It's hard to say because, I know that it wasn't obviously completely Joss Whedon's, but I'm quite a big fan of what Joss Whedon does, his work.
Yep.
And I've just, I'd found very little, and I generally defend Zack Snyder, to be honest. Like,
I've heard you do that.
I know people kind of hang shit on Sucker Punch. I think it's kind of fun. I'm a big fan of 300. I love fucking 300 is, I don't think criticism of 300 is really ever going to, it's like water off a duck's back, because that movie is just so unashamedly what it is. You can criticize it all you want. It's just kind of like, but it's fucking 300, man. That's just, it's going to be what it is. And just sit and don't be a party pooper and just have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I just don't know if I'm going to sit down and I might come away from it and be like, yeah, that was better. But
yeah, exactly.
How is that like?
It's not going to change
worth
anything.
What we're going through. The other thing that I feel like is this setting a really dangerous precedent where we're now in an environment where if people are loud enough, and let's face it, most of the people that are asking for this, and it's a generalization, but the people that are like aggressively asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Are not
a dude bros.
A dude bros. It's on the more toxic side of the fan base, right?
Yeah. So I agree with you there. Yep.
And I obviously know I'm generalizing, and I'm sure there are really lovely people that want to see that movie, but they're not the people that have been tweet bombing Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder's account and HBO Max and all that kind of stuff. It hasn't been them. It's they're sitting back going, oh yeah, it'd be cool to see that. And when some artwork comes up, kind of having a look and being like, yeah, that's kind of nice. Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching that.
Yeah,
it's the more toxic side of the fan base that are, every time anybody Zack Snyder tweets anything, it's hashtag release the Snyder cut.
Release the Snyder cut.
Fucking anytime there's a article on what Joss Whedon's doing, it's this guy fucking ruined Justice League. Hashtag release the Snyder cut. So
exactly.
I'm just a little bit kind of like, I just don't, and I don't like that side of our fan bases getting victories.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's giving those people what they want. Maybe they'll shut up, but I doubt it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I don't think this will shut them up at all. And the problem is what if it comes out and it's just fine? You know what I mean?
You don't think that was going to be? Like, it's not going to be...
Is it going to appease these people? Like,
no, I don't. Well, it will to some extent.
But are they going to do it just out of like cutting off their nose to spite their face? They're just going to be like,
It was fucking awesome. It was way better than Avengers.
It was so much better than the other one. And it's like, well, actually, it was they're both kind of garbage. But just because you won your internet, your internet fucking argument, and I don't think everybody's like this, but it's that part of the fan base that I'm really worried about now.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for, to me, it's kind of like the people that, and I know we've got differing opinions on it, but your opinion, when you differ your opinion, you don't try and, harass somebody off Twitter because of it, like a lot of these people do. But it's similar to the Last Jedi thing. What if these people went in and then Disney went, oh, okay, cool, we're going to recut the Last Jedi. We're going to, blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. If this is really successful and suddenly the studios start to realize that, yes, this toxic fan base is not good for what they're doing, but they have deep pockets.
Yep.
I'm worried about the power they might end up having. So a movie comes out. It's not great. Maybe we hear stories about some backstage, some behind-the-scenes turmoil, bit of trouble. Maybe the director it didn't fully realize his vision. Does that mean that every movie now... Off. Yeah, or even just like... It doesn't even need to be a walk-off. There's sometimes you just hear about movies where it's like, yeah, look, the studio wanted to take it a different way. It's a bummer. It's not entirely my vision, but I'm still proud of what I got. And we're just going to get constant... Like,
I feel like that's a lot of movies, though. You do get films aren't made. If you get a film made, if there isn't some friction on set, if it's all just hunky dory and everyone agrees with everyone, unless you're on like I don't know, for some reason I feel like Clint Eastwood's set would be very calming.
No one's trying to take away Clint Eastwood's movies from him. He's
exactly.
You wouldn't dare.
Yeah, or. You wouldn't dare. Oh, no, he'd knock you out with, like, the bunt of a shotgun. Like, just knock you the fuck out.
Gran Torino style.
Gran Torino style, exactly. So, so unless it's, like, a little bit of friction is good sometimes. So, if that happens with everything and everyone knows... Like, the only other thing that I think of now that you've said that is the fact that if a director is not getting his way and then says, well, fuck this, I'm going to just #my cut it, and the people will know and let them decide. The studio doesn't get to decide whether I keep my job or not, sort of thing. Like it's a big tunnel that this thing could go down.
And you're right. There's lots of different things that it could open up. You're right. If a director starts to feel like he's losing a little bit of creative control, what's to stop him from just going, well, fuck you, I quit, and I'm gonna start a fucking hashtag movement. But I think I think that's good. Like, it's good to have, it's good to get advice from people. Like, this is the thing. Like, sometimes directors, look, they're not always 100% correct.
All right. If it is going to go that way, I think it should be, thought out at the start. So just like Peter Jackson in Lord of the Rings, he goes, okay, I'm going to give you a theatrical cut and I'm going to give you a director's cut. Release them both apart from each other or together at the same time. Who cares? And let it go that way. Say it from the start that there is my cut and then there is their cut.
Yeah, hey, did the extended editions, everyone. They came out in between, didn't they? So
they did, yeah. And it they didn't get a theatrical release. It was just
no. I think they show now, in festival, like if you go to rep screenings and stuff. I think it's the extended editions. I've not seen the theatrical editions of those movies since the cinema.
Since they came out, since they came out, same, yeah. And you've watched them a bunch, haven't you, Tys? That is a lot of hours. But yeah, like that was the reasons that you bought those DVDs.
Maybe that's the way to do it.
Such a big thing. Yeah.
Maybe if there's just a collective agreement that it's like, look, the studio's going to release this movie. You, as a director, you're going to stay silent. Like, don't badmouth it. Don't fucking hang shit on it. But for the DVD release, we'll give you the opportunity on the Blu-ray to add a director's cut.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that way, the people at home can then decide from there.
How good is that? That's great.
If you want that opportunity, you can have it. If you don't want it, that's totally fine too. If you're really burned and you're just like, nah, I don't want that opportunity, that's fine. Yeah. But we've given you the opportunity. We've decided for theatrical purposes, we're going to release the cut that we've approved.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, lots of directors do get final cut. The directors that have that kind of clout.
Exactly.
But maybe that's a good opportunity for up and coming directors who are like, yeah, look, the studio came in and did some stuff like that, and it's not entirely my vision, but I don't hate this version. It's just I wanted to tweak a few things, and so here's a tweaked version.
This is my version, and that's theirs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And because, and that's, to me, that's like, I mean, you don't want to start a trend of every movie being like having a director's kind of adjusted
What do you
version.
watch the director's?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's just too hard to keep track of in the end, isn't it?
It's a bit insane. Yeah. My letterbox just doubles.
Exactly. And then that's the thing on Letterboxd as well, because there was a movie I watched not long ago where I watched a director's cut. And I was like, oh, how do you find a director's cut on it? No, it wasn't.
Was it Tombstone?
I didn't actually watch the director's cut of Tombstone. I couldn't find it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got it on DVD at home, but like at my parents' house, but I don't have it here. So I ended up having to just watch the theatrical. My point being, what do you do on Letterboxd if it's like, what if the director's cut is garbage? The theatrical version is garbage. The director's cut's great. Yeah. Some people are going in and rating the theatrical. Some people are going in and rating the director's cut. You get this skewed rating. Anyway.
Exactly. Come on.
God, there's too many factors to this. I don't like it. I don't think I like it. I think I'm coming down on the side of I don't want this because I don't like what it's going to start.
Who knows? It may just be that. But anyway, we are getting it. It's going to be on... We're not getting HBO Max. I just had to look up HBO Max because HBO are releasing it. So I think it's going to be a Foxtel thing for us.
Sure.
Which is going to be shit because who likes Foxtel in this country?
Well, anyway. Speaking of... Should we move on to our second piece of news, Nicholas?
How good is that for segue?
Good segue, because it might show up on Foxtel's new streaming service, which is called... It's called Binge, Nicholas.
Binge. Now, I do. That's nice thinking.
Look, it's a clever name. It's not bad. Now, look, we're not getting paid for this in any way, shape, or form, but we have discussed, new streaming services before when they've become available in Australia because our streaming services are so different. So we like to kind of mention it to make sure that listeners know what they've got access to in case they don't know about anything, and we like to just, let people know. I'm sure there are many people that didn't realize the great stuff that Tubi has on it, completely free.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of shit too.
So
but
do you have Canopy?
Yeah, I have Canopy. Yeah.
You have Canopy?
Yeah. Cool. So I think we've talked about Canopy before with its subscribe with a library card. Or if you're currently a student, you subscribe through your place of
school
of education.
Education.
But we now have Binge, which seems to be Foxtel's kind of attempt to get into the streaming market. They did try with something else. I remember not that long ago, Foxtel Go or Foxtel, which was. You could get like a cheaper version of Foxtel that was available on like your tablets and stuff. And instead of it having like any kind of live element, you just had a certain amount of what was available on Foxtel you had on demand, basically.
Yeah, because I heard if you ever tried to watch any live event on Foxtel or Foxtel Now or whatever it was, it was horrible.
Right.
But that's what I heard.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now, it's clearly like it's definitely. Owned by the Foxtel guys. So take that with a grain of salt because I know that we are kind of... Well, we're not the biggest fans of the Murdochs around here.
No.
And the monopoly they have on a lot of entertainment and news.
Everything.
But having said that, we thought we'd have a little look, Nick, and there's a couple of interesting things about Binge.
Oh, okay.
So Binge...
What comes to mind, Tyson?
All right, so what do you think of this feature? And tell me if you think this is a fun feature. A feature called Surprise Me. What do you think that is about?
I've heard of this. Is this like a let's say you've got a genre of music and you just hit random? Is that what's happening?
I'm pretty sure. It's so
what they're trying to do here, if I'm not mistaken, is make it like channel surfing. So back in the day when we didn't have streaming, ladies and gentlemen, before all of those people who were born after 9/11, hello, good morning, how are you? We used to channel surf to find if something was good. Now, if there wasn't anything good, you would sit on a show and just see if it turned good. You were like, I'm going to give this a shot.
Give it a crack.
I'm going to watch this.
Exactly.
Give it a crack.
And
is that what's going on
That
here?
is exactly what's going on. So it's basically saying that you can choose the Surprise Me feature. It'll play something based on your... what you've previously watched and if you've taken the time to rate things and stuff like that. It's kind of like the Foxtel's, suggestions things, except instead of it being you scrolling through and choosing them, it'll legitimately just go, bang, start playing something. If you want to keep watching it, keep watching it. If you don't want to, you try it again. So you can actually go, no, give me something else as well.
Yeah. Is it what I want to know? So I want to know specifics. Is it a random episode? Like here's episode 14 of season 4 of
No, surely they wouldn't.
I would love that shit. That'd be hilarious.
You must be able to set it to be like no spoilers of TV shows, nothing past because that would be dumb, absolutely dumb. They have something else that I kind of enjoy is this thing called the Binge Center, which is where they have like cast and crew interviews and making ofs and things like that. Now I don't know if that's just television shows, but I kind of like the idea of like bonus features attached to the content. If it's part of movies, this could be a selling point for me, I think.
Well, I think I could be wrong, but I think Disney Plus does do this with films. I think they do. I think it's underneath. Once you can either pick the film, and then underneath you either get like just featurettes and things like that. I could be wrong. Okay. I haven't looked into it that much, but I think that is there. Yeah, that's a nice feature though.
I don't mind that. Yeah,
it kind of. Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah.
But aside from that, there's they have the kind of exclusive rights to all the HBO stuff in Australia. So this is probably where the Snyder Cut will end up premiering here in Australia.
Cool. Is it true? I heard of they don't. One thing that kind of appealed to me when I looked it up a little bit was the fact that, let's say you watch Nightmare on Elm Street. It doesn't then automatically flood your streaming with horror movies.
Oh, okay.
That it will just... I think that's a thing that... Like, that's good for some people. Like, some people want, well, I just watched that, so what else is there that I kind of want to watch? No. It doesn't actually affect what you're watching. So it'll just go, no. Here's what this is what you like. We're going to show you things that you like. Just because you watched a random horror movie doesn't mean we're going to flood your thing with horror. Yeah.
That's not bad.
I thought that was cool.
I don't mind that. And it's considering some of the things that some of these other streaming services have suggested for me. And I'm like, do you really think I'm going to enjoy that? Okay, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, some of the kind of shittier things though, there's no 4K.
There's no 4K.
No 4K.
Oh, no, it's only HD.
Yeah, it's not cheap at all. So
it's not.
It's for a similar package on Stan, I think it's roughly the same price as Stan, which is the 2 screens at HD for about $14 a month. I think that's kind of it's considering what it is. I don't think it's comparable to Netflix, or it probably it might be comparable to Stan, but I think it's a bit pricey. Especially without the 4K. So the highest it can go is HD, even on the like super premium.
That's pretty weak, to be honest. Especially in this day and age. Come on, man.
Look, I can't believe
maybe it'll change.
Yeah,
maybe it'll change.
I still am blown away that Amazon Prime is only like $6 a month. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
It's wild. But it does have, apparently it's got like up to nearly 10,000 hours of content on launch. And they were saying like compared to something like Disney Plus, which had about 800 hours. That's pretty good.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's massive.
So anyway, this is starting to sound like a commercial, but I don't think I'm going to get it.
It does. No, neither am I.
Yeah.
No, I'm out. Yeah. I'm not a big fan.
But that is another option there.
I've got too much. I've got Netflix, I've got Stan, I've got Prime. I'm done for now.
The only other one that I think I'm ever going to get, I think I'm done. I might get. Yep. We did have Disney Plus for a little while, and then it ran out, and we didn't resubscribe. I think the only other thing I'm going to get, I am waiting for Shudder to come to Australia. The horror streaming service. I think when that finally comes to Australia, I will definitely subscribe to that. But that is the last. I think that'll be my last one.
Is that? Do you know if that's coming to Australia? Have you heard things, Tyson?
No.
Do you know? Are you holding out of me?
I know nothing. All I do is every now and then I go to Shudder.
Yep.
And see what it says because it knows which country I'm in.
Right.
And
it gives you nothing. It says,
hang on.
Sorry, sir.
Well, this is new. Hang on. No, surely not.
This is new.
Join. What happens when I click on join? What does it say?
What?
Oh, I can create an account now. What? This is new.
Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, you are hearing live. Tyson is about to find out whether we have
Hang on. About. Yeah, this is nuts. Hang on. I'm going to do it this way. Is Shudder
Seriously?
available? Usually when I go there, I just get a thing where it says, at the moment, Shudder is unavailable. Shudder is making its way to Australia.
Holy shit. Tyson.
Hang on. I don't want to. There is no official launch date yet. Bleh.
Oh. Well, there you go. Tys is in. I'm glad we talked about it. That's awesome. Oh, Shudder. Shudder, for those of you playing the home game, is just nothing but horror movies. How good is that? Does it have everything? We're talking Hammer horror, the whole 9 yards?
I don't know how extensive the programming is, but I think just having that as an option there is really like, instead of trying to go through Netflix and Stan's and Amazon's fairly average horror sections, just having it all collated in one space where you can just be like, I want to watch a horror movie, and you can just, you know that you've got everything you need at your fingertips.
It's a good point.
It's kind of like I'd probably subscribe if there was like an action adventure streaming service specifically.
Sure,
I'd probably subscribe to that. If to be honest,
I do know that there's a there's a CSI streaming service in the States where it's all all
CSI
NCIS,
all the time.
CSI, NCIS, all of that stuff. It literally, like, you touch like you put something on it goes dun dun.
Oh. So it's just every crime and Law and Order style show.
It's a crime channel. Yeah, I think it's just a crime channel.
Yeah.
How funny is that?
Yeah, well, at least you know what you're getting.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to check in on that later, and I'm just going to try and sign up and see how far I get before it says, oh, you're in Australia. Hey, Nick.
Tyson.
I think maybe we should move on to our feature prez.
Yeah, we talked about that for a while. Let's feature present.
Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
It was a place where a man could start over, where a fortune could be made. They say every town has a story. Tombstone has a legend.
Who is he?
That's Wyatt Earp. Better name for himself as a peace officer.
I heard of you.
I'm retired.
You must be Doc Holliday. You retired too?
Not me. I'm in my prime.
Hollywood Pictures presents
The only real law around here is the cowboys.
the story of Wyatt Earp.
The first time in our lives we got a chance to stop wandering and finally be a family. Now this is trouble we don't need.
If we're gonna have a future in this town, it's gotta have some law and order.
What do you want, Ringo?
I want your blood. I want your soul. I want them both right now.
They shot your brother.
Now the time has come for justice.
Guess maybe you better swear me in.
And he has to live up to his reputation.
You got a fight coming.
I'll be there!
One last time.
None of your problem, Doc. You don't have to mix up in this.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
In a battle.
The last charge of Wyatt Earp and his immortals.
At the OK Corral.
Oh, my God.
The West would never forget. Kurt Russell. Val Kilmer. Dana Delaney. Powers Booth. Michael Biehn. Bill Paxton. Jason Priestley, Sam Elliott, and Charlton Heston.
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me!
Justice is coming to Tombstone.
We did okay. That was a stock standard half an hour chat.
That was good.
That's usually what Talking Trailers takes. I think we did all right.
Exactly.
Oh, dear. Nick, here we are.
Tyson.
Nicely done.
Oh, no, wrong movie.
It is the wrong movie, but iconic nonetheless. We are talking about Tombstone. Nick.
Tombstone.
Do you remember when you first saw
Good
Tombstone?
Lord. I do. No, I don't remember the first time, but I remember watching it. I think my parents actually hired it.
Oh yeah,
and I loved it more than them. They were like, "Oh yeah, that was good. Falcon was good. That was it." Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, this isn't about me though, Tyson. What is your relationship with Tombstone? When do you remember the first? Did you see this at the cinema, Tyson? 1993.
No, I didn't see it at the cinema.
No? Okay.
This was definitely a rental at the video store. Tombstone kind of just snuck up on me. It was a movie that just, I think I saw it once, relatively early days of its video store life, so maybe 94 or 95, and then it would become just a constant in my viewing habits. Like, even when I was 15, like 13, 14, 15, I'd still be like, hey, let's watch Tombstone again. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna five weeklies, $5.
It's $5.
Can one of them be Tombstone?
We get Tombstone.
It just kind of anytime it was on television. Oh shit, yeah, we're watching Tombstone.
Exactly.
Ads and all. And it's been a constant in my life. Like, it's one of those things where it's just kind of, I don't remember a time before Tombstone.
Right.
It's just one of those movies that I have, like, almost a photographic memory of it. I love it so much. Like, not only because I think it's really great, but I think because it is, because of the memories I have of falling in love with it as well. And being kind of excited about Westerns as a kid. Because
Westerns are your genre, isn't it?
I say that, but I'm pretty limited in what I've seen, to be honest. But I think I think it'd be silly to say that Westerns are my favorite genre, because I've seen far more 80s action movies than I have seen Westerns, and I've seen far more comic book movies than I've seen Westerns. But having said that, I have a real soft spot for Westerns, and I will, if I feel like watching one, I have no trouble watching it. Like, it's just kind of like, whatever it is, I'll put it on and I'll gladly sit through it, even if it's not great.
There's a feel to a Western. It's not, there's very rarely, sometimes people have done it, and in the ones that I've seen, it's never really worked. A fast Western, like action-packed, really quick, that doesn't really exist. In a Western, you have to let the movie breathe. That's what I feel, anyway.
Yeah, generally, like some of them, I think it's certain things that make good Westerns that I don't know if you can 100% put your finger on them. Like, because as soon as you say one thing, you can find an exception to that in a really great Western. Like, it's this universal genre where you can't pigeonhole it. It's not just always about the one thing. And I think that's why, because generally you sit down and watch a Western like you do kind of like an 80s action movie, to be honest. You sit down and you think it's going to be stock standard, but it actually covers a whole bunch of different things within it. And I do like how Westerns tend to lend themselves to other genres really well. So you can have a Western horror film, something along the lines of Bone Tomahawk. But, you can have a Western.
So good.
You can have Western, Western romances. You can have Western dramas. You can have kind of hyper stylized violent Westerns, like the Peckinpah stuff. You can have
sci-fi Westerns. We've had cowboys and aliens.
Sure. And then you can. Things like Unforgiven, which we've talked about, and High Noon, and these kind of revisionist Westerns that reflect on the genre itself. I really dig it. I just really think it's great. And there's something about that kind of, it feels so old school Hollywood. Like, even this movie's made in 93. I was watching it and I was like, fuck, it feels like it could be the 50s or 60s that this movie was made now. It feels, because it's so long ago now that...
That's true.
Kids who watch it now will just see it as a real old movie.
An old movie, yeah.
So to them, you could say it was made in 68 or 93. They won't give a fuck. It's still just really old to them.
Really old. That's so true.
And so, it's
that's what I do. That's what I do love about those movies. Like, it is old school Hollywood because the sets for westerns had to be built because there was always that panning shot. You'd see the town or them riding in or whatever, and there had to be somewhere. Like, those sets had to be somewhere, so they'd just leave those sets for the next western to come in and whatever.
Yeah, the little towns that they built, and just that was just it. It was like it was a ranch, and it was a movie ranch. So I specifically, this movie I think was probably my gateway to westerns. I think I didn't watch many like Clint Eastwood ones as a kid. I didn't watch any of that kind of stuff. It was, I think there was
Does Back to the Future 3 count?
Yeah, I'd say that. That's 100% a western. I do love Back to the Future 3 too. Like I go to bat for that one. So there's definitely
you like it more than 2.
I do like it more than 2.
Bastard. Yeah. Good Lord, man.
But yeah, so I'd say this is my gateway into the genre. Like, this was the one that kind of got me excited. And as a kid, I was like, wow, these movies rock. This is the coolest. And it's funny, I still watch it now, and I still think it's one of the strongest examples of the genre. Like, I know that I think maybe it gets looked upon a little bit as like a bit of a trashy version, like a bit kind of like the McDonald's of westerns, but
no, I think the McDonald's of westerns, which I know for a fact that you love and own, is The Quick and the Dead.
Oh no, yeah, fair enough.
I think that is the McDonald's of westerns.
Is it the McDonald's of westerns, or is it like the like Long Island iced tea of westerns? It's like it's a western, but you're gonna get pretty fucked up while you watch it.
Yeah, you get.
It's gonna really mess with you.
Yep.
But I do feel like this is really easily digestible. Like,
it is.
It's so you do not have to worry. If you put this on, you're guaranteed 2 hours of entertainment. Don't worry about it.
You are.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
There's not.
That's true.
That's kind of it's a blessing, but also for the movie, I think, because it makes it. I think it gets kind of people sit down and watch it and they judge it really harshly because it is so well regarded. Even if it doesn't always hold up scrutiny at that level, I still think it's just incredibly effective entertainment.
All of it.
I see problems. I know that there are bits in it that I could do without. Like,
right.
And there are things that make me laugh about it, and there's little bits here and there that I'm like, well, that was a bit naff. But to me, it's all part of the overall charm of it. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
None of it phases me. I don't.
And because it's so quick, the naff parts aren't. It sits in them for some time. Like, there are moments. The moments that I'm talking about, obviously, are the romance between Wyatt Earp and what is her name?
I was going to say Clara, but no, that's.
No, that's Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Dana Delaney.
Dana Delaney. Yeah.
It is. No, it's not. Is it Clara?
No, it's not Clara. That's Back to the Future.
Yeah, I know, but maybe it's both of them.
Really? No, it's Josephine. Josephine Marcus.
There we go.
So those were the moments, like especially the picnic and those weird questions. I was like, this is just strange. Because it didn't feel, it could have, it just felt that those moments weren't particularly done well for me.
Yeah,
the rest of the movie,
I could and truly do without the conversation about the horses that want to fuck. Like, and it gets a bit much, and the subtext of that conversation is just text. Why don't you just stop trying to be coy?
Exactly.
And look, and to be honest, I feel bad for her because I just don't think that character is particularly well written.
No,
which is a shame.
And you can kind of tell that with the female characters as well. Like his wife, Ali. That could have been something really meaty there. I really wanted that to be something.
Look,
but it kind of just fizzled,
The problem is
because it was so quick. You were like, oh, it doesn't really matter anyway because we're just about to have a shootout and Val Kilmer's looking fucking badass. Look at that shit,
It's not, and look, as much as we always want there to be better written female roles and more representation for female characters. This movie doesn't require it. It's just, there is something interesting there in knowing about Wyatt Earp's relationships, but that's not this movie. This movie is not concerned with that.
No.
And if this movie doesn't want to be concerned with that, then I don't need to be concerned with that. Yeah?
No, that's true. I just think that they went a little bit longer than they should have, if that's true.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. And I think more than anything, the stuff with his wife was to kind of... I feel like they've dumbed that down to a simple kind of... she's a drug addict and not a very nice person. Just to kind of make it seem so that his infidelity doesn't make him out to be as much of a bad dude. Like,
exactly.
You know, at the end of the day, Wyatt Earp was a human person, flaws and all. You know, like we can't hero worship someone like that because they will have skeletons in their closet. You know, he's a normal.
Absolutely.
He's a normal human being with problems, with weaknesses, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he may have done this, you know, cool stuff and been like this epic lawman, but you know, he was shit. You know, he was a dog to his first wife. You know, that's just how it happens. And this movie, I think, tried to just soften that blow by just kind of focusing on the, hey, she's a druggo and she's not very nice. And also, but this one's really cool and yay.
Yeah. She's cool. She's free. She's living free.
Yeah. But I mean, they stayed together for the rest of their lives as well. So it's a bit of a weird kind of like, oh, well, I guess they found each other eventually. The loves of their lives did find each other. It just so happens that he tried one first and it was the wrong choice. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You go.
Kurt Russell, good Lord, man.
Yes.
He was pretty badass.
Yes.
But if I'm going to be honest, it was just a little lacking because I always wanted it to be. I'm like, what's Val Kilmer doing? What's Val Kilmer doing? What's Val? You know, get back to Val Kilmer.
Well, I mean, that's
like it's but they pulled like it's head to head that whole movie. Like it's so good.
What's really hard about that is that you can't. We don't want to punish Val Kilmer for being so great in this role. Like,
no.
And I really like Kurt Russell in this. I've got no problems with him at all. But as a character, there is just something more inherently interesting about Doc Holliday. Yeah? But he only works as a supporting character. You give him a lead role and it's not as interesting anymore.
It's not as interesting, no.
So
it's kind of it'd be a bland, weird movie.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I kind of do sit there and be like, where's Doc? What's Doc up to?
Yeah.
But if he was there more often, it might lessen the impact he does make in those moments.
Yeah.
And
I know that.
And I like that Kurt Russell is a bit more. He's not as cool. Like that's just him. He's not as good. He's not as quick. He doesn't cut as you know, striking as figure. He doesn't get to say all the cool one-liners. Like
no, but he is. No, he does have those sometimes. Like, and he's just not it all the time because you're getting those awesome lines like putting the stir up against someone's face and slicing their face open and then saying that hell is coming with me. Like, good Lord, that is petrifying.
Yeah, that's you know, his greatest moment in the movie by far. There is something, but this is like, I think the iconic moments in this movie, like you can just keep counting them off, and that's the thing about that's one of the reasons why I think this movie kind of transcends its flaws.
Yeah.
Because you can okay, so Dana Delaney's and that side character, she's written terribly. It's not a great performance. Just so happens that in real life she was the love of his life, whatever. But this movie has like I'd need more than two hands to count all the epic, like all-time great moments in this film.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, who cares, man? I'll take the 16, 17 all-timer moments in a movie with some kind of dodgy romance plot any day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happily.
Absolutely.
Happily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like
good.
her, Russell. I think there's I love that Billy Bob's a piece of shit in this movie. Good old Billy Bob Thornton gets tossed out like
unrecognizable. Billy
Yeah.
Bob. He is so unrecognizable. I'm like, Jesus, that's Billy Bob. Look at him.
Yeah.
Scary. And Stephen Lang. You don't realize that that's Stephen Lang either.
Oh, well, this cast is deep. Like, it is such a great cast.
Such a great cast.
Every one of those cowboys is somebody. You're looking underneath the mustache and the hat, and you're like, oh, it's that guy. Oh, it's John Corbett from fucking Sex in the City and whatever. And then there's Thomas Hayden Church and Jason Priestley.
So good.
Yeah, and
Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker shows up. I like when Michael Rooker plays a good guy as well.
It's good.
Yeah, it's Stephen Lang, isn't it? And he's such
Lang.
He's such a different, like, it's such a
He's
different
such a
physicality.
weird piece of shit
because
in
he's
this.
a scumbag in this, and a real cowardly scumbag.
Yeah, but he has that. Like, if you were to ask me what in my head, if I would imagine what a cowboy looks like, it's not Kurt Russell. It's not at all. Not that he is a cowboy. It's what Stephen Lang's character looks like. That drooling, heavy, dirty beard, fumbling over himself, really arsehole type of dude.
Yeah, he looks like the kind of guy that would get drunk in a saloon and then try and pick a fight with you at 3 a.m. because you accidentally brushed his arm. So, like,
Exactly.
Obviously the kind of piece of shit that, we still have those kind of pieces of shit today. And, it just so happens that in those days they could get away with shooting people and being scumbags about it. But when you compare him in his physical stature to things like Avatar and like
Completely
the Conan
different.
remake and stuff like that, you just don't breathe.
Or don't breathe.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus
completely
Christ.
different people. Like, I would never
Huge.
have assumed that they were the same actor. Like, and especially because he's obviously younger and got so much gunk on his face. It might as well be a different person.
Same with Billy Bob, though. Like, Billy Bob, if you look at him at that and then you look at him in, like, is it The Man Who Wasn't There? Is that the Coen?
Yep.
The black and white. Like, he is a stick figure in that. In this, he's a heavy set, kind of dumbassy type dude.
Because I think Sling Blade would have been the year after this, maybe.
Maybe it's 96, I think.
Really? So it was a couple of years after. Because I'm trying to think of the progression, because I know he got really skinny pretty quickly. Like, I remember Billy Bob as a skinny guy. I think like something like A Simple Plan.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So Sling Blade was 96. Simple Plan was 98.
Right.
Yeah. And then he just got progressively thin.
So
Bandits,
pretty much
I know you're a big fan of Bandits, Tys.
Bandits.
2001.
Bandits is one of those movies that I've stared at that video cover 100 times.
So long.
And
Didn't
just
you?
gone,
Same.
nah. There's just something about this movie. I'm allergic to this movie. I'll never, ever watch it. I don't think
I watched it. I watched it once. Don't do it.
I feel like
Fucking
I've
boring.
seen part of it, but I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the whole thing.
God damn. But yeah, God, this is just a stellar cast, man. And then you're topping it off, Tyson, with probably one of the coolest guys, like, to go head to head with Val Kilmer, and it's Michael Biehn. My God, he's cool.
Can we just we're running out of Michael Biehn movies to talk about, because we've gone on a tear. But if anything, this recent kind of Michael Biehn fest that we've been on, where it's illustrated two things. There are lots of movies that have Michael Biehn in them that I love.
That's true. Correct.
And I've got to remember that, because he's the best. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We fucked up on Michael Biehn.
Why is he not a leading man?
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
We have done a disservice to that man. He is fucking so good. And this is yet another great performance. It's more showy for him than usual. Like, he gets to kind of have a little bit of fun with it, which I like.
Which is what I like, yes, because he's normally just a guy to sit kind of in the sidelines. Even Terminator 1, he's kind of still on the sidelines a bit.
Well, he's just very stoic and understated. Like, even though he lets his physicality do the work for him usually. Like, because he's so comfortable in that environment, being a physical presence, that he doesn't have to talk much or have to be kind of this flamboyant character. Or have that kind of energy. And in this, he gets to do both. He gets to be like the fucking best gunfighter and this really over-the-top kind of like just evil bastard who has these wonderful lines. And I love how Curly Bill, the wonderful Powers Booth, kind of every time Ringo says anything, Powers Booth kind of looks around like, this fucking guy, isn't he? This guy's crazy.
He goes, I'm the leader, but I haven't done anything. He's the fucking bad guy. Look at him.
Like when
like when he says it smells like someone died, and he goes, Jesus.
And that's it. He laughs. And that when they're watching the play in the saloon.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all talking about Faust and the deal with the devil, and he's like, I've already made mine. And he just looks at him like, oh, yeah, this guy. Just has a chuckle, like, yeah, fuck yeah, Ringo, you crazy.
But
man.
fucking so good. I love how it sets it up as well. Like I completely forgot about that wedding.
Oh yeah, the wedding,
the Mexican wedding.
Yeah,
and just to set how evil, like everyone's evil here. The cowboys are bad. They're not good guys. But at the top of that list is a guy that will sit there, have a shot of something, and just kill a priest and just shoot him like dead in the face.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, okay. And doesn't budge, does it? It's not a big thing for him.
No.
He literally just twists, shoots him, and he's like, yeah, I'm done.
Well, from some of my limited research, I actually did some research for this, which is amazing.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? Well, this is the thing. Like, usually I can't be fucked, but this is a movie I love, and I was like, well, let's actually do some work. But apparently, the Ringo, the Johnny Ringo character was brought up in a heavily religious family. And so a lot of his actions are kind of this rebellion against his upbringing and his religion. Okay. So for him to just flat out shoot a priest is actually kind of a really good representation of that they just chucked it in early and just went, yeah, he'll fucking drop a priest, this guy. So don't fuck with him.
Just fucking drop a priest. You can't just drop a priest like, well, actually, no. Nowadays, you probably could. Moving on. Let's move on to someone who is actually probably... if anyone was born to play a cowboy, it's Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott is allowed to do this whenever he likes.
He's born in this era. Like, he looks like he was made for this era. It looks like if they time machined him and he's come back, he's like, yeah, I'll show you how it's done. Him and Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton I like because it's so different. Bill Paxton's he's almost like a kid. You can tell he's the youngest. He's always been the runt of the family a little bit, and he's kind of spiritual and I love that.
Kind of a bit, worships his brothers, and so you get that kind of. I think he's a good choice to play it. It's a different kind of performance from Bill Paxton. It's kind of
it is. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I don't mind it, to be honest.
Yeah,
he's the least interesting of the four for me.
He is, or is it just that we're not getting enough? I think we could have got a little bit more Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton, to be honest. But yeah, especially Sam Elliott. God damn, man.
Yeah, so good. Sam Elliott is Sam. So this is Virgil. The Virgil character, I think, is really important though, and that's like I think they weigh him up. They give him the weight that he needs really well, in that he's the catalyst for a lot of these things that happen. And in the shadow of his more famous brother, he's the one that's actually kind of the first to kind of step up to the responsibility that he feels like they have. You know, like if it was up to Wyatt, they'd just sit around and make some cash. And, like it actually takes Virgil's kind of moral compass to lead them on that way. It's really funny. Like, you think about all these things that they say about Wyatt Earp. This movie is not afraid to show that Wyatt Earp wasn't the most well-intentioned guy. You know what I mean? Like and I didn't know this. I didn't know that till this watch. Yeah. Like it's been quite a while. I own Tombstone, but it's been quite a while since I've actually watched it and maybe paid attention a little bit more than Nick, who is, in his teens, just rewatching Tombstone for the coolness and the badass guns. Now watching it, Wyatt's there to we're going to make some money and we're going to make a living. Yeah, and they do well. And it is like you said, it's Sam Elliott's character who goes, dude, we have to do something. We can't just sit here. And that could be seen as selfishness, or it could be seen as like almost that like it's the want to just move past the violence. It's kind of, if you think of something like Bill Money in Unforgiven, there's a nobleness to the idea that he's not going to pick up a gun anymore. Whereas in this, it actually kind of comes across as self-interested. And it takes a while for him to realize that it's like, you know what? If we're going to do it, let's fucking do it. And you're all coming to hell with me. And so there's actually, it's a really different kind of trajectory for your hero character, because it's not, he doesn't really decide to finally pick up the mantle out of nobility or any kind of responsibility that he feels. He does it because it's like he doesn't feel like he has any other choice. His brothers are going to go anyway. And he's kind of looking after his brothers. Yeah. And then it becomes... You feel that's there? Then, if anything, post that, it just becomes like this kind of angry quest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like this.
Yeah.
It's not. It's you know, and it's spoken in the film. It's not just revenge that he wants. He wants them to pay for everything. He wants
what they've done. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he wants that. He doesn't want just the ones that took some lives. Just the way the way that they've been allowed to live their life, and he doesn't agree with that, and it's exploitive and it's dangerous and it takes advantage of people. He wants them to no longer have that option, and they need to pay for the years of living that way. So I like it's a really different trajectory for your main character, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, it is. It's rare.
Yeah, well, because he doesn't come in from the beginning and as like this noble, you know.
It's not as if like 10 minutes in. Yeah, it's not as if 10 minutes in,
tugging on his
like
shirt,
John
going,
Wick.
Mr. Earp, can you? Yeah. And he's like, oh, you know, kid. He'd probably kick that kid away and be like, can you fuck off? You know, like. And he's pretty rough at the start. Like, he's got no time for anybody. He respects people and things like that, but he's got no time for anybody who's causing any shit. He's just like, get out of here. Yeah. We can make some real coin here, by the way, boys. Like,
yeah. I've already set us up in the pub. We're going to be doing well. Absolutely.
Yeah. But it does make for an interesting character, and it seems like it was closer to what he was actually like. I know he has, there's this mythology that follows around Wyatt Earp, but you know, little things like I don't think he ever really killed as many people as many outlaws as what people think. I think that number's been dramatically increased for the stories. You know, he didn't have like this long, illustrious career of being a lawman. It was just a short period of time where it was just kind of, he just did it for a little while, helped clean up a town that needed cleaning up, and then kind of wanted to be rid of it, you know?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Was Wyatt Earp and the Immortals, was that a real thing? Because that was badass.
Apparently, yes, but it was different people.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the grand ride at the end where they clean up the cowboys, apparently I think in real life was like 3 or 4 dudes. Like, that was all they ended up killing.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, and I don't think it was... I think I feel like they were the cowboys, but it wasn't it wasn't like this heavily kind of established club like it appears in the movie. I think it was a little bit more...
Like the red sash and all that
I don't think any of that happened. I think it was a bit more vague as to the affiliation. Like, and I don't think like Curly Bill was like specifically a leader, or Ringo was specifically a leader, you know.
Yeah.
They were just kind of... I think I read somewhere that that Ike Clanton's dad was probably... If anyone was considered the leader, it was probably Ike Clanton's dad.
Right.
Yeah. So, but, you know, those kind of things don't make for tidy narratives. So,
no.
You know, this stuff all did happen. One of the things that I find the most interesting is that the magic no, where he just he dodges bullets in a river by saying the word no, happened. Yeah. That happened. So there's witness stories about how Curly Bill shot at Wyatt at point blank range multiple times and did not get him. He wasn't able to shoot him. And I'm like, well, that's fucking wild. Like, that moment for me is one of the most ridiculous moments in the movie, and I think a lot of people point to that moment as being how stupid this is. It's true. That's one of the true
that's
parts.
What I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna bring up the fact that the ending with Curly Bill needed to be a bit more of a sequence. It was just all of a sudden they were in a crossfire, then Wyatt just goes, no, and just comes out of nowhere. And you know, Doc kind of rushes to back him up. And I'm like, Doc, what? You're not even there. He's fine. He can do it by himself.
He's got superpowers, apparently, so you don't have to worry about it. Well, this is...
So, it was a little bit weird, but now that you've said that, of course, put that in because it's actually what happened.
Well, and apparently there's a much longer version of this movie floating around. The script was ridiculously long at first, so these things like the montages towards the end are probably evidence of, you know, attempts to cut down that script, and so maybe it was more of a gradual kind of sequence leading up to that river shootout. But yeah, I know it's a bit cheesy, but I really love that moment. I think it's great. I get really excited about that moment.
Yeah,
because I really
Crossfire, man.
Well, it's just I like the idea. Like, I know that the repeatedly saying no is maybe not the most cinematically smooth way of showing that. Like, it feels a little... You kind of watch it and you go, really? Oh, okay.
That's what you're coming out with?
That's what he's doing?
Okay.
All right. But I like what it all sums up. I think it sums it up really well. And it leads really well into the reckoning line. It's not revenge he wants, it's the reckoning. All that stuff, all that kind of, when he decided that he was no longer going to tolerate it, that it was his responsibility now to take away their power. I dig it. I like it.
Yeah.
But this is going to be my response to everything. Hey, by the way, I'm just going to go, well, I like it. And throw fucking the bird at anyone that says anything else.
So funny. So funny. My favorite part is still the bit where the Cowboys are at the start of it before it all happens. The thing that kind of catapults it and kicks it off. And when Virgil gets shot is it in the arm or in the leg?
So Virgil gets it in the arm. Bill Paxton, what's his name?
You should know this.
Yeah.
Your movie, come on. Morgan.
I was going to say Morris.
Morgan.
Morgan gets it like in the small of his back.
In the small of his back. Yeah.
That's it.
But the shootout where they all collectively go, and one of my absolute, if someone, for some reason, it always pops into my mind. Just randomly, I'll just be thinking, and I just love that line. The fact that when Wyatt says to Doc, you don't have to come. There's nothing to do with you. And Doc says, that is a hell of a thing for you to say to me, and kind of sides with them. That line always sticks in my head. It's such a great line.
You're talking about the lead up to the OK Corral shootout.
OK Corral. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Such a beautiful sequence.
It's amazing.
Spitting image of what I think a Western should be. And I love the fact that for no reason, and I don't need a reason, that when they do the walk in one line, that there for some reason is a burning building in the background.
That shot is fucking
when the
amazing.
Fuck did that catch fire? When did that building catch fire?
Man?
And who cares? Exactly. I don't need a reason.
I don't need your sense in that. That shot is fucking brilliant and beautiful. And I don't need reason, because otherwise that shot wouldn't exist. I love it. The four of them walking through there, and they're all they look so good in their suits, in their costumes. The costumes are so great, and they you just get so excited watching them walk down, because you're just you guys are the fucking best. And you know what's coming too, and the movie does a really good job of expressing the importance of this moment in history. When you're watching a movie about a specific moment, and sometimes the moment comes and goes, and you're like, oh, you probably should have made more fanfare of that moment. Yeah, exactly. This movie makes sure you realize, oh, guys, you've heard about the OK Corral? Well, fucking strap in.
This is what happens.
It's happening. And I fucking love it. Yeah. And I love Val Kilmer's response to that. Come on, I'm going to do it. We're going to have a separate conversation about everything to do with Val Kilmer.
We'll talk about it. We'll bring him up. I think you'll have to bring him up at the end, to be honest.
Sure.
Yeah, end on a high.
I've got so many notes, and we've barely even talked about any of them because I've just been talking. What else have we got?
Give me something.
Well,
give me some things.
I enjoy Billy Zane in this.
You like Billy Zane's character? Yeah, I don't mind him.
This is good use of Billy Zane, because Billy Zane is a fucking good-looking man. But
he is.
It's so perfect to have him in this movie next to all these grizzled, fucking real kind of manly
cowboys.
Men, and to have Billy Zane, who is very pretty, he's and with his beautiful curly hair, and he's prancing around as this actor,
his bravado,
and I think it's a really good use of him, because it's you forget that. I think because we tried to make him an action star. I remember Sniper and shit like that.
Sniper. No. I do
Billy
remember
Zane
Phantom.
Well, everyone remembers Phantom. Actually, that's a lie. We remember
no one
Phantom.
Phantom.
Nobody else gives two shits.
Phantom. That's true.
No, remember Sniper with Tom Berenger? It's like a war movie, and he's the...
Oh, yes, yeah. I remember that.
I feel like we tried with Billy Zane, and he did a whole bunch of straight-to-DVD action crap.
Yeah, he did.
And those kind of end-of-the-world disaster movies and stuff. I feel like we missed the boat on Billy Zane. He should have been...
Billy Zane.
He should have been a pretty thing. That should have been his bread and butter, being the
he should
really...
have been a 90s guy.
That real kind of sophistication and class. I mean, they obviously cashed in on it on Titanic, but because I really like him in this, and I like that he comes out and basically describes Kurt Russell as the quintessential cowboy, like where he gets out of the thing, he's like, look at him, eyes squinting shut from the sun, cutting a lean
tall drink of water.
Yeah, exactly. Moustache ready to twirl at a moment's call.
So good.
So I really like him in this, and I really like the moment where he gets shot. Spoilers. Because I think it kind of like for
we
a movie,
don't see him get shot.
No.
We've just seen him shot. Yeah.
But for a movie that spends so much time being like this, like hyper masculine, like fest. Where we all talk about how badass everything is and all these guns shooting and stuff, that the movie stops to have a conversation about him and implies that, well, I don't know, you tell me, but I feel like it implies that him and Jason Priestley were in love with each other.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
It is, I think it is implied, yes. But yeah, not heavily. I do like that it happens because, I didn't want it to be you shoot us, we shoot you, you shoot us, we shoot you. You want to see the fact that the cowboys are actually really running amok and causing a lot of, it just being rebels sort of thing. Not having like, any guidance at all.
That's it.
Like, I don't give a shit. So
but they use like revenge as their kind of righteous kind of excuse. So when it's like when they roll up at the wedding and it's like, well, you killed a few cowboys, so we're going to have to kill you now. But really, they just they just want any excuse.
Exactly. So I don't want that. I want them to be the type of villains that they are and are there to cause, just anarchy. So because Billy Zane's character would have had nothing to do with anyone and he wouldn't have said anything or been anything, whereas killing him off lets it kind of sit in the movie that maybe he was killed because of his homosexuality, but it doesn't really say that. It just goes, it may be because of that, or it may just because of, that they're just dicks.
Yeah. Oh, and the way that Ike is there and kind of trying to say that, we had nothing to do with it. And it's kind of like, no, well, of course you did. Yeah. You're full of shit. But I didn't actually think of it that way, that it might have been because of his homosexuality. I never really thought of that. Yeah. I thought it was more that maybe he... Because doesn't she say something like...
He was caught in the crossfire or something?
He called one of them a scoundrel or something for trying to take her purse or something.
Yeah.
And
they just shot him just cold.
Yeah. But, but they might have had a vendetta against him because it's like, oh, he's the prancy actor, who they were making fun of, not 2 days earlier.
Exactly.
When you get that great. I love how, they all stand up and applaud, like, ironically and all that kind of stuff. And, a few of them legitimately are like... I love how they all walk into the saloon and it's just, like, rapturous applause.
I know.
And I'm like, fuck, man, I'll be an actor in the Old West. It seems like it's a really sweet deal.
Are you kidding me? You have to get shot at, Tyson. The audience have guns.
True.
And when they, instead of applauding, they literally just start firing at the roof. I would love to see shots of the roof in a fucking theater back then. God.
Yeah, exactly. If it starts raining, the whole place just fucking...
collapse.
Billy Zane does really well? The humble acceptance of applause. Yes. When he walks into the thing and he looks at them all and he just kind of puts his hand out and he's like, oh, thank you, yes, thank you. I know I am wonderful, yes.
Hands together. Yes. Well,
he's so good.
Glad you enjoyed it.
And I love how Dana Delaney is just one night, she's just standing up next to the piano having a sing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did they hire you for this or are you just fucking like, oh, go ahead, come on, play something. I'm going to sing something. Everyone want to hear me sing? You're going to love it. And there's people sitting there like, oh, fuck this. Can we just get...
Has she not gone away yet?
Like, I thought she was just going to do that show. And then...
The theatre troupe left ages ago. For fuck's sake. She's like, yes, I'm sticking around because my man...
Bill Bailey, won't you come home? And they're like, come on, fucking Jesus.
Bailey again. Fucking hell. Does she know any other tunes?
Anything else? Anybody got any requests? No? Okay, Bill Bailey again from the top.
Bill Bailey it is.
Oh, God. Yeah, that bit cracks me up. God. I do like that bit. I'm just like, what are you doing here? All right. No, they clearly ran out of things and they were like, we need more scenes with her in it. We're paying her too much money.
Yeah.
Dana, come and stand next to the piano.
What am I singing? Doesn't matter. Just
doesn't matter. What do you know? What else have we got? There's one really great little moment. And I don't know if you picked it, but it's during the fight with Ike in the bar. So you know when it's after Virgil has become Marshal, and it ends with Ike backing up from the barkeep saying, if I see you again, blah blah blah, and Virgil just donks him on the head with the gun. You remember that bit?
Phantom punch. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bit in that, and it's amazing, and it's a blink if you miss it. But there is a scene where they're having a scuffle, right? And someone knocks the table, and a bottle of whiskey is about to fall off the table. The extra just goes... Funk.
Extra just goes, bang, I got that.
It's the best.
Sweet move. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that. And I was like, well done. Pay that man a little extra.
I know. I was like, well done,
champ.
I hope they applauded that guy afterwards, because they would have been like, if it had a drop, they would have had to do another take. It would have been like, all right, go back to the top.
Oh, fucking smashed.
I hope everyone went, let's give it up for Dave.
Well done. Well done, Paul. You're a champion.
Thanks, man. You just saved us fucking $10,000 in film. Nice work.
Exactly. Cheers, fella. God, that's gold. Yeah, that was a smooth move.
Smooth move.
Smooth move.
So what else we got? I'm going to save all of those for the end.
Lovely.
Yeah. So, and also oh no, you go.
Go on. I think Jason Priestley. There are two people that the cast is amazing, right? There are two people who are kind of. It's weird them being there. Jason Priestley is one. I feel like he's just in it because 90210 was still a big thing.
Yeah, he's stunt casting, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. The other one is I'm not a big fan. I've never was a big fan, and back in the day of Ned and Stacey. For those who can remember that, Thomas Hayden Church. I don't like him. I think he's wrong in this movie. He's really too orange for a start. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Orange,
and if you look at what he's wearing like, remember when Marty McFly went back to the West and he Doc dressed him? He looks like that. I'm like, what are you wearing, you dumb idiot?
It's funny that you should mention that, because I did read a little into the costume design of it.
Yeah.
And because I thought the same thing. I find it funny that he's like...
He's just out of place.
That's
what it is.
It's
he
such
just looks out of
bright,
place.
vibrant colours. But apparently, and this is something that has been missing and what they tried to recreate, is that it more likely was that they would wear those kind of colours. Like that, and the problem is because we don't have colour photography from that time. We only have black and white and sepia tone stuff that they assumed that everyone would. It's kind of like, oh well, they probably wore
wearing browns
earth tones and blacks, but actually, in more likely, according to like historians, they would have been wearing big bright colours. Yeah, isn't that funny?
So you're telling me that when Django jumps on that horse in that blue fucking suit, that actually might have happened?
Probably, yeah.
That's badass.
That is badass.
I do like that.
But I do agree with you, though, that I think Thomas Hayden Church is...
He's just out of place.
He is a little bit out of place. I think he sells it because he's young enough, but he's always had an old man face. I think he's meant to be playing like a young kind of... one of the younger, more... irresponsible members. You know what I mean, though? He's got old man face.
He does. No, you hit it right on the head, and that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah. You could tell me when he was like... I don't know how old he was in 93. You could say he's 21. Yeah. If you told me he was 42, I'd believe you.
Yeah, exactly. Even in Ned and Stacey, he looked 45.
Yeah, what was that show about?
Yeah. Everyone loved Ned and Stacey. It was a poor man's version of Mad About You.
Yeah, but what was their job? Yeah. Were they married?
I have no... Was there a muffin store? Had something to do with a muffin store.
Wasn't she his like assistant or something?
I have absolutely no idea.
Join us next week, ladies and gentlemen, for us as we try to recollect 90s sitcoms without rewatching any of it, and we just see how well we go.
Exactly. Tune in for the middle section where where Tyson goes, what was that Candace Bergen show?
Exactly. Next week, Murphy Brown. And the week after that, it's Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Tell you what, I'm excited for the Hanging with Mr. Cooper episode. I'm telling you that. I used to fucking love that show.
Mr. Cooper. Pause for 2 seconds. I got to pee.
Does this mean we're not friends anymore? You know, Ed, if I thought you weren't my friend, I just don't think I could bear it. There. Now we can be friends again. Johnny, I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.
Not me. I'm in my prime. This happens to be a nocturne.
Which?
You know, Frederick fucking Chopin. I have 2 guns, 1 for each of you. Or a daisy if you do. I'm your huckleberry. That's just my game. No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning. Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave. Oh, I wasn't quite as sick as I made out.
Oh,
so you
okay,
back?
I feel better.
Good.
That was a long pee. Jesus, drink a lot of water. Okay, let's start this off. So,
yes, Nick.
So Val Kilmer, right?
Yes.
He is the reason you watch this film. Because and the other reason I say that is because yes, this movie is great. The cast is amazing. You know what it is? You're getting a good Western, but it's not as heavy as something like Unforgiven or
no, it's not as heavy.
Power Rider or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's in there if you want to look for it, but it's less. It is less concerned with that stuff. Yeah, exactly.
It's an easy watch. Do you know what I mean? It's rather you can chuck it on, and that's why we liked it so much, and that's why we hired it so much. So you can just chuck it on. Whereas Unforgiven, that's a sit down. That's you got to sit in for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So with a movie that you can just chuck on like that and they're so entertaining, you don't expect a performance to really set a benchmark that high of character acting with this what Val Kilmer has done.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I can't.
And if you are looking for those deep parts, they're in what Val Kilmer says. That last scene, I'm just jumping ahead, but last scene.
I think a lot of the reason why this movie has the long lasting kind of life that it does and the legacy that it does is because of what Val Kilmer does. I think a lot of the things that I really like about this movie all stem back to people's relationships with Val Kilmer, with his character. So the best parts of this movie for me, the friendship between Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, I think is easily one of my favorite parts of this movie, and I just love their relationship so much. I love that it's based around, a mutual respect and an understanding of each other that kind of transcends buddies. Like, they you know what I mean?
They
like
are friends.
In
the truest form.
In the truest form,
friends.
They're not similar people at all, really.
No.
They have very stark differences in how they choose to live their life, but they have a real deep understanding of each other and appreciation of each other. And I think it's never bangs you over the head with it, but it's truthful. It feels like you don't have to work hard to see it. It just exists in these characters.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. I love that it's so sincere about their loyalty for each other.
Unquestionable.
Yeah.
Like he's always there. Like that's why I guess I love that line, him saying that, that's a hell of a thing for you to say to me, type of thing. My friends are going to go into battle, and of course I'm going to help them.
Well, I mean, all of the great moments in this with Val Kilmer, aside from a few which we'll talk about in a second, are because of his want to protect Wyatt. Like that moment where he's almost offended that Wyatt doesn't think he'll come, that he would, he wouldn't be immediately by his side when push comes to shove. The fact that he pretends to be sicker than he is so he can sneak out and face Ringo himself.
Because he knows that Wyatt's going to get himself killed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, leads to one of the greatest. There's so many great moments in this film, but that's what I mean. You need more than two hands to count them all. But, the reveal of Val Kilmer there ready to face Ringo at the end, it's just so great. And,
it's what cinema's for.
The conversation between the two of them at the end, it's such a beautiful respect. And the fact that Wyatt just leaves as well and just says, you know what, you're right. No, if you want this, I'll go. But still the fact that he was, even the little thing like he gives him the storybook, which is of
Yeah.
It's such a sweet gesture.
Such a nice moment. Yeah.
It's lovely. And, you know, that they're just sitting there playing cards. And because he knows that Doc loves to play cards. Like, I think the two of them, it's one of the most lovely friendship stories. And it exists in this, like, massively masculine film. And it has such a tender, truthful friendship. I think that's really sweet. And the other stuff that I really love... Sorry, you want to...
Yeah, go for it. No, keep going.
Val Kilmer's relationship to Ringo. And I think that is equally as good in that he sees a true challenge, like...
Opponent, yes.
And I love it.
A game that's worth his time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as he kind of is nearing the end of his life and he's fully aware of that and he's decided that he wants to live out the rest of his life by drinking as much as he can, gambling as much as he can, you know, surrounding himself with
staying up as long as he's wanting.
Exactly. Hanging with that beautiful lady that he's picked up along the way. Yet still decides, but I can't let this one go because this is the real thing. And I think
this is the one that's gonna.
We talk about. I've said it before that there is this particular line of dialogue that I have as my screensaver on my phone, and I think it sums him up to a T. And that's you're a daisy if you do. This idea that he wants somebody. He wants to know, is there somebody good enough to take him? And the way he's like, I'll shoot you down. And he's like, well, you're a daisy if you do. You'll be the best. You'll be the one.
Yeah. Yep.
And nobody does.
Let's see if you've got it.
Let's see what you've got. Because I love that.
You've got it.
I love that confidence, but it's never flaunted. Like he doesn't
he doesn't go over the top with it or anything like that. No. He knows, but he plays it carefully. Like the games, him playing, you know, poker and things like that, to wee hours of the morning. If he's got a good game, he'll keep going because he's looking for that thrill, that challenge. He doesn't have that challenge in anything else.
Yeah.
You know, and because he can do it, and he can do it even as sick as he is. When he sees the opponent in Ringo, he goes, "Okay, all right, let's see what you got."
And I love him when he gets him at the end. And he's just taunting him like you're no daisy.
You're no daisy.
You're no daisy at all.
You lost.
I love it. It's like, you know, you're the one that's gone around this place thinking that you're the baddest guy here. And secretly this lunga, or whatever they say, that, Lunga. You know, basically had to crawl his way out of bed because he's coughing up blood, took you down. So you fucking stew on that, you little shit.
So good.
And I just... So good. Yeah. But that's the thing, like, you know... For a character like that, he could have been played as this arrogant show-off and like this really like not at all deep, like without the extra levels that are brought to this character. But because we get this person that is fiercely loyal, quite humble, funny, intelligent, really perfect timing, like always says exactly the right thing at the right time, and physically really well represented by Val Kilmer. It's just you walk away from this movie and just like, fuck me, Doc Holliday. This is, although it's probably nothing like the actual person, and I don't say this because I don't think it's Val Kilmer's performance necessarily. I think he's excellent. Don't get me wrong. But I think this is one of my all-time favorite movie characters. Like easily top 5. Favorite movie
because of what they do with it, because of the story, because of how it ends. So in the director's cut, I only know this because I've watched this movie that much. You get his goodbye with Kate. Did you get that on the horse?
Yeah, so I haven't. I've seen the director's cut once when I ordered the DVD and got it.
Yeah,
but I also started to feel I didn't want to keep taking it out of the box because the box is really cool. It's got like the map of Tombstone and everything in it.
Nice.
So I didn't want to ruin it. It's really nice. It's like this very fragile soft cover that it came in, and I was like, no. I'm not going to take this disc out ever again.
Stop taking it out. Yeah, 100%.
So I've only seen the director's cut the once.
Like my moto. Yeah, that's fine. To be honest, I think there's 2 major scenes, or maybe 3, that really stood out.
Well, it's not really a director's cut, is it? It's an extended... Does it say a director's cut on the box or extended cut?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I have to move and have a look at the box.
Oh, no. What should I do? Does anyone know any good jokes? Maybe I'll retell Faust.
Was it that quick?
Oh, that was good. But this is one of my prized possessions.
Director's cut.
It says director's cut.
Director's cut. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So yeah, tell me about the scenes then.
So it was. It was this, fuck, I can't remember. I can't place of where it was. It was in the middle. Both, so Virgil and Morgan hadn't left yet, and Wyatt had a bit of a night, and then ends up sitting on a porch and just looking at the town,
right,
and kind of just soaking it in.
Okay,
like that was it. The other one was the big goodbye with Kate. So, we're just about to get Wyatt's just about to go off on Wyatt Earp and his Immortals ride, and Doc knows that he needs to go with him. Doc's packed up all his stuff, and Kate's like, "Well, babe, what about me? Like, I've been with you by your side. I know, you know, the word love is never mentioned.
Yeah,
right." What's mentioned is that they have a good time. She lets him live his life how he wants to. She looks after him and all that stuff. And she goes, "Are you kidding me? You're just going to leave me here? You're just going to leave me?" And he actually just does. He just kicks off and just rides away. He just says goodbye and just goes. Like, there's nothing kind of there, which I'm not a big fan of, because I actually do like their relationship a lot.
Yeah, I do remember the scene now that you've said it. And I think in my head when I saw it, I think I think it's probably wise to cut it, but at the same time, it does highlight, because you don't want to make him out to be a bad guy. But I think it just highlights the lengths that he will go to for Wyatt. And I think, you know, we still get that in the normal cut. You know, we get those great scenes like, the Doc, what are you doing? You can barely stand up. And he's like, well, he's my friend. Yeah. And it's like, I got lots of friends, and I don't.
Got lots of friends. I don't.
And that kind of sums him up to a T, is that, because of the friendship they have, he knows that, there aren't a lot of people that truly, truly respect him as a human being. And even, like, Kate, to an extent, doesn't. Like, because there's that scene where where the Doc comes, and he's like, we need to have a conversation about the nature of our relationship. And she kind of...
And she doesn't give a shit.
No.
She puts the cigarette back into his mouth.
In his mouth, is like, come on, let's get you fucked up and have a good time.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So I think, I see why it's there, but I also see why it's cut. Yeah. Why it was cut out.
Yeah, I understand as well. But yeah, those are the two major things that I could see.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since I've seen Tombstone. So yeah, those were the two major ones that stuck out.
Sure.
Like, this is clearly director's cut.
Yeah, and I think I saw it was only like 6 minutes or something different. So there's not really, it'd just be maybe some extended cut takes here and there, and maybe some alternate angles and stuff.
On the topic, because of what we spoke about before, I don't think you're allowed to put director's cut if you're just adding two scenes. I think it has to be a vast change to the narrative, or a different ending, for it to be a director's cut. You can't just add two scenes and go, "Oh, this is my cut."
Well,
no.
It's further complicated by the fact that it's rumored that it's not even directed by George P. Cosmatos, because he came in quite late after they fired Kevin Jarre, or whatever how you say his name, and apparently, as rumor would have it, and I read some interviews and stuff like that, I think Val Kilmer's corroborated this as well, that Kurt Russell directed it.
Right.
So,
really?
like, George P. Cosmatos was there. He was the one yelling action and cut.
Action.
But Kurt Russell was setting up the shots. He was telling people what they were doing, where they were standing.
Right.
He was the one giving character direction. He was doing all that kind of stuff, so that Cosmatos became, because he was quite ill at the time, he became kind of just the token director. He was they just kind of like, George is doing his thing, but really it's Kurt Russell's baby.
Sure.
So that further complicates it, I think, because now saying that there's a director's cut, it's kind of like, well, whose?
Well, whose cut is it?
Whose cut is it? Is it just a studio guy that went, let's put a few of these deleted scenes back in? Is it Cosmatos that decided he wanted those scenes in? Or is it Kurt Russell saying, I actually would have liked to put those scenes in?
Or is it the studio going, let's make another buck on Tombstone?
Probably. Look, most likely that's the case, because I think Cosmatos passed away not long after this. I don't think he was.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
shit.
I feel like he died in like 95 or 96 maybe. So I don't know. I have that memory. I could be completely wrong.
Cool.
But yeah, so. But God, I just I can't
Have you
say
got
enough good
anything
things.
else,
Oh, just general kind of like loveliness for it. I just I can't argue with how this movie like makes me feel when I watch it, and I think it's one of those kind of movies. Like, if somebody wants to say that it doesn't have the same effect on them, I think I can understand that. And if someone says that because they're not feeling that, the flaws become more apparent relevant to their discussion, I can also understand that. But because I know how this movie makes me feel, I don't care about that stuff. And it's 100%. I love the like how reverent this movie feels towards Westerns. Like it feels really old fashioned. You know, we talk about how much we love something like Unforgiven for kind of making you reflect on the Western genre and kind of deconstruct it. This is the reconstruction of the Western, really, like a year later. It's almost them saying, cool, we get that perspective, but also Westerns are a thing of beauty, and here it is in all its fucking form. You know what I mean? And it loves the genre. Like the movie, you can tell that it really, really loves the Western genre, and I love that for it.
Yeah, nice.
I love it for that.
It is good.
Yeah, it's I could watch this any day of the week, and it'll definitely get another run soon. It had been too long for me. I think it had been a couple of years. Yeah.
Oh, really?
But yeah, that's probably about it.
Nice.
Although I will say, how fucking great is the end credits? Like, you watch this whole badass movie, and then all of a sudden the credits roll, and it's them just strutting down the street again.
Just strutting down the thing.
With the score, which I fucking love this score, by the way. Like, it's such a great, like, old school orchestral thing. It's trying to do like a Morricone kind of esque thing, but it's obviously not as catchy, but it's still epic. Like,
still good. It's still good.
You know, we've just gone through this movie, and we just get to see them all again, just like it's like model shots. Like, they're just like, here we are with the views of the fucking town behind you, and then the title comes up with that yellow old school font, and it's just like, you just watched a fucking movie. Take it in. Oh, God.
Did you like that?
Yeah, God, I bet you did. Yeah. Watch it again.
It was good.
Push play. Done. Go back to the start again.
I have to rewind it first.
Oh, exactly. I would have been like, quick, rewind. I got to watch it again.
Rewind it.
Yeah.
So good. Tombstone.
Yeah. I will, I'll talk. I could talk about this.
You'll watch this again?
Yeah. If we ever want to do a volume 2 of Tombstone, I'll probably have a whole bunch more things that I could say.
You'll happily do that, will you?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of it is like Val Kilmer's stuff.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what? This is such a silly, but do you know what? Like a moment that I just love for no reason. Well, not for no reason. It's just a tiny moment, but it just shows how much I love that character. The bit where he pulls out the shotgun at the OK Corral and just flicks off his kind of cape that he's wearing. Yeah. He just flicks it off with his shoulders while he's got the shotgun ready to go. And I'm just, and he just kind of, his move is to kind of cut off the edges. He just kind of walks around to the side.
He just goes wide. He goes wide and goes, Who's coming? Who's coming my way?
It, like stuff like that just makes me go, oh fuck, I love this. I love Doc Holliday so much.
It is really good.
Yeah. Look, it's fine. Let's stop talking about it, because otherwise I'll be here till 2 a.m.
It is good.
How good's that bit? How good's this bit?
That's true, but that's why we do this.
That's true.
Well, Tyson, let's move on then to our next segment.
Our next segment, Nick. So do you want to count us in so we get it right? Yeah, let's do it.
Which is...
What did you watch this week? Dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, do you want to go first?
I can go first, yeah. Okay. So just a quick Bond update.
Oh, yes.
I am now up to...
What are you up to?
I am up to Golden Eye.
Wow.
Okay,
how was the T-Dalt experience?
Oh, it was quite nice.
Have we already talked about both of them? Did you already talk about both of them?
Did I? No, I don't think
so. You might have talked about the first one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I've only just watched License to Kill. So, it was... I didn't mind it. Yeah, they were pretty good. They were pretty good Bonds. I did, in doing my little bit of research on these Bond films while we were doing it. So, License and what's
Living Daylights.
Living Daylights. So there is, if you watch those and you notice that Bond is a little bit more keeping his pants on, let's say.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, a lot of more keeping pants on. He does have sex in the film. Yes, that is a given. But yes, it's the womanizing is not as in the forefront because of the massive AIDS epidemic that was happening at the time. So so I thought that was quite interesting.
That is interesting.
They took that line.
Is there a James Bond movie where he doesn't sleep with somebody?
No.
Right.
No,
Okay.
Definitely not. What are you talking about?
Well, I was just wondering. I thought, to mix it up, it was like, hey guys, I've got an idea. What if he doesn't have sex in this one and suddenly someone gets fired? Like, get the fuck
Someone
out.
got fired.
What do you think this is?
What are you fucking thinking, you idiot? I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about this. I watched Tyson. I watched The Gentleman, 2019.
Oh yeah,
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie. Our guy loves gangster, English gangster movies. I like that it's his thing. And while I was talking about it a lot, we were talking about it at work today, and I don't know, but I prefer it goes Lock, Stock for me. Lock, Stock is at the top.
Sure.
I like Lock, Stock. Snatch is underneath, and then The Gentleman is underneath that. A lot of people are really quite frothing this movie, though. They are big fans. I was like, that's fine. Have you seen Lock, Stock, though? They're like, no. I'm like, cool. Do you know what Snatch is? No. Okay. Well, maybe let's do a little homework and then come back to it.
We forget that. It's been over 20 years since those
I didn't
movies.
realize.
So, it's a long time.
Lock, Stock was like 98. Was Lock, Stock 98?
I feel like something like that, yeah.
Something like that. But no, it was really good. Highlights were definitely Colin Farrell's character.
Oh, yeah?
I really liked him and what his boys kind of did. The other one, everyone really liked what Hugh Grant brought to the movie. I didn't mind it. I just think that it could have been done a little bit better with someone else. I realized it because they were going for that English. Remember in Lock, Stock how Statham's character was that it's that English slang that you have that really it rolled off the back of everyone in Lock, Stock.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it felt just a touch forced.
Okay.
Now
sure.
I know that that's his character. He's trying to be cool, just like everyone else. But it's just it just wasn't sitting. But other than that, it's quite good. It's quite a good watch. It's funny, bit of a whodunit sort of thing.
Kind of a throwback to 90s
twists and turns and all that stuff. It was good.
I feel like it's funny that Guy Ritchie just kind of makes the same movie over and over again.
And I kind of don't mind that. Yeah. I think it's quite good. The fact that he's done like Lock, Stock, Snatch, Rock and Roller was very similar, but not as gangster. It was gangster in a different way.
Sure. I mean, he's made other stuff, but it just feels like
100%.
It just feels like every now and then he's just like, I'm just going to make another British gangster movie.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, I mean, more power to him.
Please. Yeah, my favorite Guy Ritchie movie is The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, I'd probably go as far as saying that's my favorite of his movies too.
Yeah,
because to be honest, I haven't seen. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? It was a good movie. I haven't seen
it was really good.
Lock, Stock or Snatch since the video store days. Like,
oh really?
Yeah,
I've watched Lock, Stock. I haven't watched Snatch.
Yeah, I remember, I remember really enjoying both of them. I feel like I don't think I would enjoy Lock, Stock as much anymore. I think I remember it being very gimmicky,
dated. Gimmicky.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And so, like it was, his style was very apparent. Like he
right.
And
well, it's because it was his first film.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I think he was just throwing everything at the wall. So I'm not sure I'd love it anymore. I'd be interested to watch Snatch again because I did at the time think Snatch was a real step forward, like in the right direction. So it could be interesting to watch that again. I used to love Brad Pitt's performance in it. So.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just think that, it's all right. I think it's a bit of overkill.
Yeah, sure.
For some reason. Speaking of Snatch, when Snatch came out and we were at the video store, Tyson, did you get that massive... it was a black T-shirt, white writing, big and bold across the chest, and it just said Snatch. And I wore that thing to death.
I did not get that T-shirt. No, unfortunately
I loved it. And the girl that I was with at the time... We were going out for dinner. She's like, hey, we're going to go out for dinner. So-and-so's going to be there. Can you not wear Snatch?
His Snatch shirt.
What do you mean?
It's the best fucking movie ever.
Got to wear the Snatch. Come on. She's wear a fucking shirt.
Do you know what I remember about Snatch is that it came in a 2 DVD set when it was available for rental. But it came in the old school fat DVD boxes.
Oh,
remember when they used to, if you used to have 2 disc sets, they would have fat boxes?
I remember that.
Gladiator had
Good
one of
Lord.
those too. I remember that.
Yep.
I think it was like a Columbia. It was like a Sony Columbia TriStar thing.
Nice. I'll just mention one more really quickly because I don't want to get too much into it.
Yeah, that's all right.
I rewatched Blade Runner.
Cool.
Tys. I know that we kind of sit on the same fence here, where we know and we are, we aren't big fans of Blade Runner. That's because we haven't watched it. Not actually, scrap that. We just haven't watched Blade Runner as much as everyone else has.
Yeah. I was pretty late to the party.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I very, very late to the party. So I want to watch it because Sam was like, we were flicking on Netflix. She's like, let's watch the new Blade Runner. I'm like, can we watch the old one just real quick?
Sure.
We'll watch that because just real quick.
Yeah.
Just so we can understand because she was of the same thing. She's like, I remember seeing it, and she's kind of the same ilk. She's like, why does everyone love it? I don't remember anything about it. So yeah, rewatched it. Completely forgot that it was film noir, and yeah, loved every bit of it.
Did you? Which cut did you watch?
I watched the first cut, theatrical.
No shit.
And now I'm gonna And now I'm going to watch the other two cuts.
So voiceover and all.
I need to. Yeah,
wow.
Watching everything. Voiceover and all. Yeah. So does the voiceover go? Does it?
Voiceover's
I don't
gone.
know the differences.
Yeah.
Voiceover's gone.
Okay. Yeah. So I've seen the director's cut when I had to watch it in high school, but I paid very little attention because it was high school. And I've seen the final cut because that was the one I went and saw at the Astor.
Okay. Because everyone
was fucking great.
Yeah. Everyone lives on the. I have the blue, and it was on my man. It looked mint. It looked really mint.
It's a good looking movie,
especially for what it was.
Yeah.
And I understand now why, we're watching it and Sam's like, I understand why people love this because of in the time, my God, he did some amazing things. Those miniatures just looked insane. And
it still holds up.
1982,
so well.
It still holds up. Yeah.
That is visual effect wise. That is, I mean, everyone knows that the movie's good, but those are the things that impressed me the most is just the visual elements of it. I was like, this movie looks like it could have been made 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks, considering how old it is, it's amazing what they managed to pull off. I think it's just the theatrical cut that has the voiceover. I think by the director's cut, the voiceover's gone. Okay. I think.
And it's so funny, Tys, because love that this episode needs to be called the Nic and Tys cut because when I logged it in Letterboxd, I was like, well, there's only one Blade Runner. I need to just do it as Blade Runner.
How are you going to? What if you go? Yeah, when you go to, if you decide, what if you were that kind of person that decided to watch all 5 that's on that special, or all 6 or whatever's on that special Blu-ray release? How do you
exactly?
How do you catalog all that?
Apart. Come on,
you've just got to write in your diary that you watched Blade Runner 6 times in a row.
6 times in a row.
I'm like, are you all right? Are you okay? What's going on? Do you think you're a robot?
Yeah. Do you need help?
Did you end up watching 2049 as well, or not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. No. Let me know when you do, because I watched that not that long ago myself, so we can have a bit of a chat about that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What did you watch, Tyson?
I'm going to talk about 2 things as well, because they're both by the same director, and one led me to watch the other one, because I watched Ad Astra finally, having been talking about it for so long.
Okay.
Talking about how I wanted to watch it. I fucking loved it.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I just loved every second of it. It's such a strange movie, but I love it for it.
Okay.
It goes in directions that you just don't think a movie like this will go in.
Okay.
It's really quiet and meditative, and you feel like you're watching kind of like a pseudo 2001 kind of knockoff.
Okay.
But then there's space monkeys and
what?
Yeah, I don't want to explain more than that. You just have to know that there's space monkeys, and there's like chase scenes on the moon and stuff, and you're just like, this is such a weird little movie, because it doesn't paint itself, it doesn't fit itself into any kind of box. Like,
Right.
You think you go, oh, is it a drama? But it's like, yeah, but it's kind of got some pretty wild action scenes in it. Is it a thriller? Yeah, not really.
Okay.
But it also has some moments that kind of like there's real momentum and tension in it as well. Is it kind of like Interstellar but not? And you're like, yeah, but it's nowhere near up its own ass. Like, and I mean that in a good way. Like Interstellar, I really love Interstellar, but it's up its own ass. Like it really is.
Yeah, right.
This movie it's really, and the production design is really old school. Like everything is all kind of, like it's like someone in 2020 recontextualizing how the 70s saw space. Like little moon buggies have all got that kind of that pastel white kind of look to them, and it's like
and they have a dish on them.
Yeah, and the space stations are all really
what the fuck does that do?
They're sterile, but not in that weird kind of contemporary sterile way. Everything kind of looks like old school. I really liked it. I think Brad Pitt is doing some really great stuff in it. It's got a lot of similarities with Interstellar, but it's just less. The philosophical, I guess, elements to it are just less in your face. But it's a really it's got a lot of it feels like a pretty regular kind of thing for space movies at the moment, like especially the ones that have gotten a lot of play, like Interstellar, Gravity, and stuff like that. They're set in space, but they're about other things. First Man as well. It's got some similarities to First Man. But I just really loved the way this movie went about it. It was such a strange feeling at the end of that movie. I just didn't know how to feel really, and I loved it. So, which made me then. So, it's a big, huge recommend for me on that one. I know that for some people it's not going to be their cup of tea, but I think if you're in the right mindset, and I just happened to be, it was late at night, lights were all off. I just was ready to go with it, and it was perfect. Which made me want to go watch James Gray's previous film, which was The Lost City of Z, because I knew that was just on Netflix.
Okay, yeah.
And so I was like, yep, fuck yeah, I loved that so much. Let's go. Because I haven't watched a James Gray movie since fucking We Own the Night, like way back in the day. 2005-ish, I want to say. Way back in the day. But I used to be a massive fan of The Yards. Remember The Yards?
Yeah.
So I watched that a ton.
Yeah, right.
For some reason. It was just a movie that for some reason I kept being like, yeah, The Yards is good. Let's watch that again.
Let's watch that again.
Yeah, so I'm right back on the James Gray train. I'm going to watch all this shit.
Nice.
So I watched Lost City of Z. It's fucking great too. I didn't love it as much.
What is that about?
It's about an explorer.
Is that Charlie Hunnam in it?
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam. He's a British explorer who, it's based on a true story. He was trying to find a lost city in the Amazon jungle. And he was convinced it was there. Yeah. Basically spent his entire life obsessed with it.
Trying to find it.
And would go, would go spend 2 years in the Amazon, get a little bit closer, but then something would happen and they'd have to abandon the thing. So he'd go home for a year and then go back for another 2 years. And then he'd come back and be like something else would go wrong and he'd have to go back. And he just kept having to go back until eventually, I don't want to spoil it, but
nice.
Until eventually something happens. But it's, Charlie Hunnam, it's probably some of the best work he's done, to be honest. He's really he plays the passion and the obsession really well. Robert Pattinson, excellent supporting performance from Robert Pattinson as like his kind of number 2 guy. Tom Holland, little old Tom Holland, Spider-Man himself, pops up as his son.
Little Tom.
Yeah. What else?
Nice.
What else? It's it's kind of it's a real slog because you spend a lot of time kind of having to deal with the Amazon just being gross in the Amazon, and so it's one of those movies that you want to have a shower afterwards because everyone is just filthy, dirty. Everyone's got like rashes. You know, remember the thing about Revenant where you just wanting to put some fucking chapstick on?
Oh,
it's like that. Everyone,
Jesus Christ,
you just want to get in there and fucking give him some shampoo. But so it's not a hugely pleasant watch, but it's oh man, I really liked it. Those two. He's doing some really good work at the moment, and I'm glad I kind of finally got around to watching them both.
Nice.
So yeah, Ad Astra was on special on the iTunes store. You might still be 99-cent rental.
Damn.
And Lost City of Z is just on Netflix.
Cool. I like it.
Nice one.
Nice one.
Should we wrap it up there, Nicholas?
Let's do that, Tys.
Next week.
Next week.
Well, Nick, this is going to be something else.
We have we've literally gone to the absolute bottom of the barrel because me and Tyson have decided that maybe you guys are sick of us loving on all these movies. Maybe it's time to flip that coin and we're going to get tails up. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel, Tyson. We're going to go to.
I'm not sure about that just yet. We don't know. It's been a while. It could end up.
It's been a while.
We could be pleasantly surprised. We never know.
We could be. I really doubt it though. But this is one that me and Tyson, we've watched this maybe a couple of times back in the
early
old 2000s. Yep. We're watching. We're going to watch The Skulls.
We are going to watch The Skulls. The Rob Cohen directed. Pacey and Paul Walker starring.
Yeah. Joshua Jackson and Paul Walker. Yep.
Now the thing about The Skulls, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot stream The Skulls. We've tried. We've looked for
true.
you.
You cannot.
There are no ways. So everyone's going to have to dig deep and find their old DVD copy. I reckon, like dollars for donuts, this is one of those DVDs that I almost guarantee every op shop in Australia will have one copy on DVD.
Absolutely.
Because every 100%. Man and his dog went, The Skulls? No, we can get rid of that.
Fuck that shit.
You can have that.
Joshua Jackson? No, man. Pass.
So
Paul
if you
I'd rather watch Fast and Furious.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to watch Fast and Furious if they want to watch Paul Walker.
Exactly. But I think we should all just raid every op shop we can in Australia and everyone just buy up every copy of The Skulls you come across. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to go for a little trek around to the locals. We've got a few savers within driving distance that have pretty extensive DVD collections. And I'm going to report back and let you know how many copies of The Skulls I end up owning.
Okay, cool.
After this.
If you would like to see, because Tyson, I think you should take a photo and maybe post how many you find, if you find more. Because I doubt that there's going to be just one copy of The Skulls. You're going to get like 5.
I'm going to. Okay, I make a promise. I'm going to go to every opportunity shop that within a certain kilometre radius to my house during this week.
Okay.
And if I find a copy of Skulls there, no matter how many I have, I will buy it.
Yep.
Because they will not be more than $2. I will spend
That's true.
that money
if not
happily.
50 cents.
And I will show you how many copies of The Skulls I end up with on DVD.
That is lovely. I love that. What a mission.
What a mission indeed. I think we should all do that.
I think we should all do that. See what Tyson does for you, ladies and gentlemen. He gives you entertainment right to your front door.
Exactly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for this evening. If you are fans of what you've just heard, please like, subscribe, rate, review, all of those lovely things wherever you listen to the podcast, and we would love you muchly. Other than that, if you wish to see how many copies of The Skulls that Tyson finds, you're going to have to look us up on Facebook and like our page, and then you'll see it. Other than that, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter. We are on Twitter. We are on YouTube. You can look us up on YouTube and just listen to the podcast on there. Other than that, we're on. We love the Letterboxd app, so you can look us up and follow what we're watching. And to do that, you can follow Tys on TYS_videotape, and I am Nic, NIC_videotape.
That's it. We look forward to seeing everybody again next week.
I can't believe we're going to do The Skulls. This is hilarious.
I don't remember what it's about. I can't wait. I just remember a bit where his ATM suddenly had a whole bunch of money in it.
I remember Secret Service, and he had to run, and it ends with like a sword
jewel
fight or something?
Yeah, some kind of jewel. What the fuck are we about to watch? I can't wait.
I can't wait.
I'll see you next week, Nick.
Bring it. See you, man.
Bye, buddy.
Bye. 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 Bye.